Hello everyone, and welcome to another video here on Real Over Religion. It is I, Johnny Lee, and we are back with another video. I appreciate your support as always. And hello to the new subscribers of this channel as well. Yesterday's video, I hope you got a chance to watch it. If you didn't, go back and check it out. And leave some comments and let me know what you thought about it. That abortion is not murder, but it's mercy. And we want to continue right on in that vein, ladies and gentlemen, talking about the importance of antinatalism. If you don't know what that means, it simply means that it is the belief that it is immoral to bring children into the world because of the suffering that is in it. And we want to strengthen this position by using various examples. And I went back into the past to show you an example of why antinatalism is the answer to putting an end to human suffering. We go back to September 15th, 1963. The 16th Street Baptist Church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama, where it claimed the life of 4 black little girls who go by the names Addie Mae Collins, age 14, Cynthia Wesley, age 14, Carol Robinson, age 14, and Carol Denise McNair, age 11. 19 sticks of dynamite was placed beneath the steps located on the east side of the church by 4 members of the Ku Klux Klan, who was supposed to be a Christian organization. Here are these so-called Christians, segregationists, bombing a church which is supposed to be their fellow Christians. They injured between 14 to 22 people, from what the article says, but it killed 4 little girls, 3 teenage girls and a pre-teenage young girl, born during a time of hatred in a country that, according to the 1950s, 90% of the population believed in the Bible. But yet these 4 little girls were taken out of the world violently because of the hatred of white supremacists of that time and era, claiming to be Christians, mind you. Because the segregationist ideology comes from the Old Testament. It originated with the group of individuals who feel that they are the chosen people of God, going into the land of Canaan and executing those people who were of a different race and different belief than they were, according to the biblical myths. That is the reason why the Middle East is in the turmoil that it's in today, because of these holy texts. Because the Holy Land was given to them by Yahweh. So they regard you Gentiles as second class. But anyway, this ideology came from the Old Testament. And then the Europeans adopted it. And then they began to spread Christianity throughout the world, subjugating those who believed in it, or subjugating them to believe in it, rather, but making you less than. And what is shameful today, in 2023, above 80% of the African American community still subscribes to this religion that was given to them, forced upon them by their oppressors. The point of this video is the fact that in a so-called Christian nation, 4 young black girls' lives were taken away from them because they were born in a hostile environment. What is wrong with us as human beings that we think it is a good idea to continue to drag our future generations into this mess called life? Can you give me a logical reason why you think it's a good idea, those of you that don't have children, that want children, why you should bring your child into the world in a hostile, unpredictable, and uncertain environment? See, the Christian ideology that teaches us that God can do divine protection and that he loves and cares for you. Where was Jesus's protection for those 4 black little girls just going to church, following what their parents were telling them to do? You did not have a choice as a child to choose what you believed in. Those young ladies were going to church and following what their parents were taught, by which their parents were taught by their parents, which it goes down the line to the slaves were forced to believe in Christianity. That is the reason why still today the African American in this country still believes in this nonsense, because it's become family tradition. You believe in it strictly because it's tradition, and you don't even realize that it doesn't even work for you. What I'm trying to show you, ladies and gentlemen, is multiple things in this video. Number one is that antinatalism is the answer to human suffering. It will put an end to human suffering when all human life goes extinct. Go back and study history, and you will not find a time where humanity has not suffered. And religion has attempted to try to explain it by telling us about a tree of knowledge of good and evil, about a Satan, about demons, about fallen angels, and none of it makes any logical sense for a God who is all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing, to create his own enemy to attack his so-called children that he created in his image, just to test you for an afterlife that you have not seen, only have read about in a book that has been tampered with throughout history and has been edited and edited and edited again. Do you know how many translations of the Bible there is? Go to your local Christian bookstore and take your pick. If this is the absolute, infallible, irrefutable word of God, why does it have so many multiple translations and so many variations and paraphrased variations of the scriptures? Should there not only be one text that is reliable? But you will continue to believe this nonsense even though it does not do anything for you. Where was God on September 15th, 1963 for those little girls and those injured in that bombing? And for those of you sick individuals that say, oh, well, at least they went to heaven. Well, then why don't you go to the most dangerous parts of the world and go preach and share the gospel like Jesus told you to be an evangelist? Take the gospel to all nations. Since you believe that heaven is such a wonderful thing, go to the most dangerous parts where Christianity is outlawed and not allowed. Go preach there. Let them torture you. And then you die and go get your great reward in heaven then. Because Jesus taught you anyways that you're supposed to forsake all that you have and give to the poor, and that you will have treasure in heaven. But yet I see not one Christian selling all their possessions and giving it to the poor. That is the original first century gospel message, if you really want to get down to it. See, religion has taught you to be insensitive to suffering. As long as it's not touching your doorstep, you are convinced that the divine protection is protecting you. But no, you live in a society that is protected by a government that has this thing called 911 that protects you from random attacks or things of that nature. You cannot be attacked savagely. You can, at least not in comparison to other places, because we know people break laws here. Let's not say that. But you are protected to the most part in the sense that they're not going to get away with it. You can pick up that phone and dial 911 and somebody's going to come to take care of you. But if you go to another part of the world where you are not protected by the government, that means you have to rely on divine protection, and none of you will take that risk. You Christians that subscribe to God protecting you. God did not show up for those young ladies that perished. In the church, no less. God in heaven above looked down and saw what was happening, and he did nothing. But yet we see these stories of the 3 Hebrew boys and Daniel being thrown into the a fiery furnace. An angel appears, one who appears like the Son of Man, and protects them from being burned by the fire of Nebuchadnezzar. But he couldn't protect those people from the dynamite. When will we wake up as individuals to understand that we must turn to what is rational, what is reasonable, what makes sense? Christianity is an outdated idea, and yet we still have grown people subscribing to these ideas. And it has been shown over and over and over again that God does not work for anyone. It helps you sleep better at night to think that there is something out there looking out for you. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, when all hell eventually breaks loose, you will soon realize that there is no God coming to save you or I. We live these wonderful, comfortable lives here in the West, but how long do you think that's going to last? If you look around the world, there are many societies in chaos. What makes us any more special than they? Every great nation, empire has all failed. They've all come to nothing. And based on the way that our society is becoming more and more irrational, I believe that we will eventually be destroyed by a nation greater than us. because the very fabric of our society is falling apart and is being given over to irrational thinking. We are now putting feelings over facts in our society. And I'm not going to get into the particulars of that. You can look around and see for yourself. And you're going to have to raise your children in this nonsense. That is a burden that I would not wish upon those of you that are childless. You had better be selfish and think about yourself, because I'm telling you now, you will suffer greatly if you continue this game, this irrational game of trying to bring children into the world. You can't protect them. You can't even protect yourself at the end of the day, because if someone really wants to do you harm, they can and they will. This is the reality of our world. Humans are animals. Let us not forget that. Resources are limited. So those of you that may have a lot of resources, the ones that don't, they're going to start kicking in your doors to get those resources. And if you have a family that you have to protect, that's something you're going to have to worry about. The world is chaotic, and it is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. You better start putting your faith in what is reasonable and rational, and forget this idea of divine protection, because God did not show up for those 4 young ladies inside of a church. Antinatalism is the answer to human suffering. The population must come to an end, and unfortunately, people are going to continue to play the game of populating the world. But my message is for those of you that subscribe to wisdom, that subscribe to rationale. You see the suffering in the world. You see that religion hasn't worked. And you're like, you know what? I don't want to play this game anymore. That's who my message is for. I can't help all of you. For some of you, for most of you, you will continue to subscribe to what is most popular. And believe me, the corporations, the people that sell products and make money off of you, you know, having babies and weddings and all these different things, they want you to keep doing this. They want to romanticize romance and make it this beautiful, wonderful thing that it's not, because they need people to keep pumping children into the system. But I refuse for my future generations to play this game. And they won't. I will be the last of my generation, and I will go on into non-existence, the beautiful sleep of unconsciousness, not worried about anything, because I will be no more. And all I want for you, ladies and gentlemen, is to mitigate your suffering, following the Epicurean philosophy. You want to get the most out of life that is pleasurable and reduce suffering. Because life is suffering, so you can't avoid it, but you can reduce it. You can mitigate risk. And you do that through the Buddhist teaching of detachment. Detaching yourself from outcomes. Not detached in the sense of living in a corner or in the desert somewhere away from people, but compartmentalizing your emotions to the point to where you understand your reality, but you are detached from it. It is a beautiful thing, and it takes a certain mental dance to be able to do it. But I have come to the place where I am detached from life, yet in it. And it is the most powerful position to be in. I have goals and things that I want to strive for, but if I die today, then that's just what it is. because there are no guarantees in life. I just wanted to share these thoughts that were on my mind today. This story came to my attention and it made me want to speak on it. Life is cruel. These were young ladies that were murdered because of the color of their skin, and their parents thought it was a good idea to bring them into a hostile America because the religion that they believed in taught them to be fruitful and multiply. I thank you for listening, everyone, and I will catch you on another video.